What's bad, YouTube? And welcome to the house. Y'all already knew that I was pointing out they were gonna do this. I was hoping they wouldn't. There was a small chance they would listen to stores and really start to fix product, but we have confirmation that cards that were in QCR will now be in Starlight. Most of y'all probably figured this was the path we'd be heading down to, but product needs a major revamp in the next year, or we're going to see irreparable damage with Yu-Gi-Oh! In terms of stores walking away, not carrying the product anymore. Jeff Jones has talked about this, Ruxin's talked about it, the collector market, and realistically, the store market are looking at Yu-Gi-Oh! Product and just shaking their heads. And this one really does show that anything's gonna be on the table. Shining Sarcophagus QCR was going up over time. People were appreciating it. It was a Yugi card. It ended up being a bit collectible. You can bet once there is a comparable version to it, at least in the immediate, you'll likely see the demand for it go way down as people just go up and pick this nice shiny version of it. This also means anything that is QCR with its art is on the table to be Starlight rared unless Konami speaks up and says otherwise. Special altar art? Maybe we'll do something with that in some rarity collection Starlight edition. These are easy access to top it off. There's going to be a Starlight rare in every gosh dang pack. They're going to actually be probably, depending on the card pool, easier to pull than the prismatic secret rares once again. I think that when it comes down to it, you're going to see them pick cards through the ages, which is why number 90 is here. Also, again, meaning that anything throughout all ages could just appear on in here, and Konami just seems to be cashing in harder and harder on the game. I'm also going to touch briefly on the time rules. I'm not a fan. You're allowed to be a fan. It's controversial how they're dropping these and leaving them in tournament docs or documents and not announcing them, and it's having to be the community to decipher, and then them pulling back and then going, oh, this is for later, and trying to shock drop, pull back, push it back out. I am hating this so much. They did it with Time Wizard and they fumbled through it, and now you can do it, we're just not supporting, and time rules are going the same kind of announcement away. It's so frustrating with Konami. I know I seem negative lately. Ruxin's talked about how in his videos it may seem like he's being negative, but to criticize what you love and hope that it heads another direction, I think that's super important in conversation. And again, it's why I'm personally selling a lot of my cards at this point. Seeing this direction and no sign of changing for the future of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a very bad sign for the product. Now, if you're in the camp of, oh, shiny cards, we all want shiny cards, why are you mad that shiny card more accessible? It's when you make cards the point of selling sets to where this singular nice shiny version is 1 in every 6 cases of Yu-Gi-Oh! Product, and then you drop a comparable version that you're going to see for like $3 to $5 maybe. That's a bit of a stinker for everybody who started picking this version up, isn't it? And it's not about, like, you shouldn't have access. I want easy access reprints of cards. I think the reprint cycle Konami does is great and better than most games. I think what they're doing with their high-end market, having whales leave and leaving no sustainability for Yu-Gi-Oh! Product is what's bad. And that's leaving stores to walk away. And you have to separate those two arguments. Even MBT can separate those two things and say, we need something like this for Yu-Gi-Oh! Product. It's a different conversation than, hey, these should not be expensive after their reprints. And they shouldn't. And I'm glad these are announced for reprint. And they're in the prismatic secret slot, so again, probably harder to get than a Starlight in the 10s, ironically. And if you think I've been just pulling back from Yu-Gi-Oh! No, I'm still buying stuff. Now, this was pre-ordered a while ago. I finally got the Shogun Shion in. I paid via snail mail, so that took 2 months, but recent pickups include miscut Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards of some of my favorites. Summon Skull is in my top 3. Swords of Revealing Lights in the top 10. And I also went ahead and got the gold Moki Moki coin along with, I think, like 7 others of the newer coins as well in the max rarity. I'm not pulling away from Yu-Gi-Oh, but I sure am not enjoying what Konami's doing and what they're doing with the future of the card game. And those are very different distinctions that you can make yourself too. Now, back to the cards, John. Enough yapping. Kurikara Divine Carnate is going up in price here for the current metagame. We already saw buyouts for it in anticipation and from seeing it used in the OCG, and here goes the double down buyouts. Some things never change. Although ultimate rares, a lot of them had been flatlining, this ulti is starting to go up as its max already had, so mid max is starting to get targeted, and then the secret rare versions, not the easiest access in the world, starting to go really up in price and down in quantity as well. I did not expect to be seeing a rotted crush card virus in the talks of actually being used though. Now people are targeting First Ed OG on recent sales. Don't get it confused, it doesn't get to use that old text, it is modern text. But hold on, people are actually buying and using this as a tech. You have an easy access extra deck target for the crush card with relinquished anima. And really ironic, again, market broken if you haven't seen, this ultra rare is going for more than the quarter century secret rare. Well, the market just is so wonky and off right now. But it is in the tens, so there's a lot of population for this, and it's easier to make the ultra start to disappear out of a $30 MSRP product that was released forever ago. And it is the OG version, even if it's the technical lowest rarity version. But this is an easy access version of a card that just comes out of the extra deck that can turn on Crush card. And you have Herald of the Arclight being played, meaning against Versus and K9 and that kind of stuff, you're able to really hurt the Versus deck and then banish everything on top of it with this being on the field. So that 1-2 punch takes away the advantage of sending things from deck with the modern errata. They're having to banish their stuff unless they end up side decking something for this specific combo if it's really taking off that much. But just be aware, that's why this card is starting to move. It's actually not for past formats of all things. Justice Hunter pre-sales are still locked, but we're seeing a lot more sellers pop up. And like I said, I always give my honest thoughts during pre-sales, and exactly what I said was happening is starting to happen with the yummy stuff. Multiple cards like Cookie here, Cupsy, are falling under the pre-sale prices, while a couple of the others start to try to be the lightning rods for value. How this will wrap up after weekend 1 to 2 pieces are usually expensive for the deck, while even if the others are needed, tend to fall out in price. And we're seeing that here early as competition actually ramps up with over 20 listers for each. Now that does tell me that people are motivated to sell these cards, and there is one huge issue with the cards. A lot of vendors are seeing quality control trouble. This is from a friend, actually the owner of Ophidian Playmats, and look at this. This is like all of his ultra rare pulls. The entire line trails down to where there's damage out of his mass case pulls. This is absolutely disgusting. I can't imagine how distraught I would be with this kind of situation and just having to list everything as I don't know that you call this light to play. It's like a giant nail mark. That's almost a distinguishable card, and depending on, you would have to be double sleeving it to play in a tournament pack fresh. And he's not the only one. If we scroll through the comments, we see other people getting damaged. That's a collector rare, actually, but other people saying that this is happening to them with a lot of recent product, and even this specific product, it is happening to them as well. Same for me. Not only ultra rares, also supers, and people showing that it's in a similar place. So maybe that's why there was some kind of delay with the set from certain distribution. Maybe it was somehow caught. I don't know, but I'm really hoping that a lot of these people doing pre-sales are also anticipating quality control. Yep. And if you're a consumer, don't settle. If you get in damaged cards that were sold to you as near mint, get a refund on that stuff. Wave Motion Cannon Champion Pack. I played Burn for my first regional top. I know, dirty. It was during GOAT format itself, before Des Wombat ruined that. Yeah, so pre-Des Wombat, GOAT's a lot more valuable with Burn, but this is now $75 lowest for the Champion Pack version. You can see a lot of mild plays sold at $13, and then a lot of near mints sold out at $30. I remember the huge hype around this with Mystic Mine. I hope that's not coming back. But this is most likely, I would imagine, for past format. Let me know if Burn ended up taking a surprise win, as it often did during the actual past formats. Botanical Lion as well as Koki Miero Gravy Rose are both getting bought out. I'm guessing a plant deck did something in Edison. Probably. This is what I passed a ton of in bulk, so eventually I'll go back for those. And also this one, I left them all behind. That's on me. I did not know this had a recent buyout. I knew it was a little something. I thought it was like 5. Turns out they were 9s at the buyout, and now the lowest listed are 20, with people spending as high as 23 on Unlims and 27 on first edition. And then Necro Gardena Ultimate Rare also has been bought out of first edition near mint copies. The lowest near mint first edition now is $300, which is an unrealistic price in my mind. You can list for whatever you want, but the actual last solds near the triple digit mark, especially after sales tax, around 87, 92, 93. So do be aware that Necro Gardena Ultis are off the market, and it still does show that people have faith in past format play outside of Time Travel, Time Wizard, and with RBET and other local tournaments, even though pricing has been pulled. I feel like the community effort and ability to separate the card game from Konami is growing, and I think you will continue to see that sentiment and it be able to prop itself up. RBET is just so freaking nice with it. The fact that they're sourcing quality prizes and really working to put it out there how they are, I have so much respect for that, and I do hope that other past formats have the ability to flourish and get that kind of attention at times, but that's what Time Wizard was doing. That's how Hat started to popularize, and yes, it'll have less repercussions from time travel, and certain formats will, of course, like Toss. Toss isn't going to be really all that affected unless they start adding more cards to bring them off the list, that kind of stuff. But points aside, it's really refreshing to see, just like I said earlier with my love of Yu-Gi-Oh!, the ability to separate it from Konami and pull that apart and enjoy it yourself. That's on you. No matter how much negativity you hear from somebody like me on what's actually happening, from how much I care about it, there's still going to be the ability to enjoy the game you love and enjoy the entity, that kind of thing. Don't let a fan base ruin something for you. You never should be in that position. You should not be so tied into something that this thing is dependent on X creators' feels or Y hive mindset. Enjoy what you enjoy, and don't let me bring you down on modern Yu-Gi-Oh! If that's what you're enjoying. I'm just currently in a headspace with how Konami is handling the ship that I don't see a bright future currently, and I am hoping that turns around. I am putting it out there, so many different things that I hope get adopted, but I just know they're not going to listen because they're not listening to stores, and they're certainly not listening to me. Thanks for watching, everybody.